Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays. The Yankees won last night's opener by the score of 5-4. And hello with everybody. Justin Kutcher alongside Brian Anderson. And Brian, Alex Rodriguez, everyone was wondering, what was he going to be like this year? Apparently, he doesn't know it's 2015 because the way he's playing right now, it's like it's 2009.
Yeah, you wonder. I know this. Last night, he was a one-man wrecking crew against the Tampa Bay Rays. He'd get it started early. A solo shot here in the second inning to give the Yankees an early 1-0 lead. Then the Rays would surge ahead. That brings us to the sixth. And a two-run blast to left field would tie the game at 4. And then just to cap off his night, 2 outs, top of the 8th inning, single to center field, and that would give the Yankees their final margin of victory at 5-4. Can anybody stop Alex Rodriguez? Can Jake Odorizzi slow him down? We're about to find out.
Cool. All right. Yes. So much has been made this year about Alex Rodriguez. What would he be like after missing last year? Apparently, he doesn't know it's 2015 because he's playing like it's 2009.
It makes you wonder. This is the one thing I can tell you. He was a one-man wrecking crew last night against the Tampa Bay Rays, and he got it started early. Second inning, Nathan Carnes, a solo shot here by Alex would give the Yankees an early lead. At that point, the Rays would surge ahead, which brings us to the sixth inning against Ernesto Frieri, a two-run blast down the line that would tie the game up. Just to top off his wonderful night, how about this? 2 outs, 8th inning, a single to center field. That would drive in another Yankee run and provide them with the final margin of victory. Will Jake Odorizzi be able to slow him down tonight? We're about to find out.
Just 2 home runs shy of tying Willie Mays on the all-time home run list. Alex Rodriguez is in the lineup to face Jake Odorizzi, a starter who is off to a great start for the Rays. The lineup for the New York Yankees: Jacoby Ellsbury will lead things off and play center field. Brett Gardner back in the lineup after missing about 4 games with a wrist injury. He's playing left field. Alex Rodriguez will DH and bat third. Mark Teixeira at first, bats cleanup. Brian McCann will do the catching and bat fifth. Chris Young in right, bats sixth. Chase Headley at third will bat seventh. Stephen Drew will move over and play shortstop here tonight, bat eighth. And Gregorio Petit will bat ninth and play second base. And they will have to deal with Odorizzi, who his numbers for the first 2 games, awesome.
Well, you can't be much better. 2-0, a .61 earned run average in the 2 starts. 14 2/3 innings. How about this? Just 4 hits given up, 1 earned run to go along with 10 strikeouts. Jake, I don't think you would ask him. He would say, listen, this is his best I've thrown maybe in his career in back-to-back starts.
The defense behind Odorizzi.
Take a look at that Rays defense, left to right in the outfield. We have Brandon Guyer, Desmond Jennings, and Steven Souza Jr. Across the infield, third to first, Evan Longoria, Asdrubal Cabrera, Logan Forsythe, and Alan Dykstra. Rene Rivera will be behind the plate.
Jacoby Ellsbury will lead things off here for the Yankees, an offense that really hasn't taken off yet. Last night you mentioned Alex Rodriguez, what he did, that one-man wrecking machine. He had 3 of the 5 total hits for Joe Girardi's Yankees last night, and they were lucky to get that victory.
Well, and Joe Girardi said that. He said, without Alex Rodriguez, we absolutely do not win that ball game. And this is a team desperate for wins, having dropped their first 3 series of the season.
4-6 on the year. The Rays 6-5. Ellsbury 0 for 4 last night. Now 256 on the year, and takes the first pitch fastball inside for ball 1. The 1-0 from Odorizzi. Foul back, 1 ball and 1 strike. Bob Davidson behind the plate. David Rackley at first, Jerry Lane at second, and Hunter Wendelstedt, the umpire, at third base. You know, it's nice. We don't have to worry about the weather in here. 72 degrees. And their first strike, 1-2.
Consistent. I will tell you, the one thing that you have to worry about, especially if you're a visiting player, is the roof there. Here at Tropicana Field, see a lot of fly balls, pop-ups misplayed because of that domed roof.
1-2 is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. What can we expect to see as we look at this roof? Actually, a ball got caught up in the catwalk last night on a foul ball.
It can be arena baseball sometimes, too.
The 2-2 from Odorizzi. Fouled back off the mask of Rene Rivera.
Well, Jake Odorizzi here in the early going, aggressive with the fastball. And the one thing that he will make this Yankee lineup do all night long is deal with the entire strike zone. He'll bore the fastball down in the zone. He likes to elevate to the top of the zone and above. He'll work both sides of the plate.
Another 2-2 pitch. In there, called strike 3. How about the 4 keys to the game for tonight?
Well, for the New York Yankees, Tanaka, no crooked numbers. You know what has hurt him this year? He's given up 9 runs in his 2 starts, a 5-run third against the Toronto Blue Jays and a 3-run fourth against the Boston Red Sox. Avoid the big inning and keep slugging. You know, coming into play today, the Yankees with 3 home runs last night were tied with the Major League lead with the Baltimore Orioles at 16. And for the Rays, Odorizzi stayed the course. We already talked about his numbers, how good he's been. And you've got to get Evan Longoria going. This is a guy right now, just a .235 average with a home run and 2 runs batted in.
Brett Gardner, first pitch swinging, lines a single to right field. So some speed on the base pass right now for the Yankees.
You know, and going back to the Evan Longoria numbers, nobody's pitching to him.
Right.
And that's the, you know, he needs some guys around him to start to do a little bit of damage so that he sees some pitches.
Well, here is Alex Rodriguez. The big night last night. You can hear the fans boo, some fans cheer. Of course, the Yankees train not too far from here in Tampa. The numbers, I don't know if there's anybody in baseball who's not surprised with the start that he is off to. Again, was suspended all of last year. And the first pitch, breaking ball's in there for a strike.
Look at how missing a little bit of time last year at the beginning of the season hurt Stephen Drew.
Right.
You know, after not taking the qualifying offer and not signing till later into the season. Absolutely. And then you think about taking a full year off and then another off season. Pretty remarkable what he's done so far.
Missing outside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And I'll tell you what, some of those pitches last night, not even the ones that he hammered, but just some of the swings, the foul balls, that bat speed. That, you know, you look back at 2013, maybe it was slowing down a little bit. The bat last night looked pretty quick.
A throwback over to first. Gardner stole a base last night. A key steal in that 8th inning with 2 outs to get into scoring position when Alex Rodriguez singled to center and scored him for the winning run.
He came in as a pinch runner, getting back into the lineup here tonight.
Big swing and a miss, 1-2.
Jake Odorizzi taking a little something off that, 85 miles an hour, and Alex way out in front. And Jake Odorizzi not that easy to run on. But the Yankees at the top of that order, those are the 2 guys that'll go, Ellsbury and Gardner, big stolen base numbers from a year ago.
The 1-2. Up high, snap throw back to first, and Gardner's safe.
Well, Rene Rivera, off-season acquisition for the Rays, coming over in a trade with the Padres, a trade that also bought them Steven Souza Jr., Will Myers, Ryan Hannigan going the other way. Very active behind the plate, handles the pitching staff well, throws the ball well.
Throwback over to first. You mentioned Will Myers being dealt to San Diego. Odorizzi was actually acquired with Will Myers in the trade that sent James Shields over to Kansas City.
This team very active in how they move the pieces around in order to think about the future at the same time competing today.
2-2, got him swinging. Second strikeout of the inning for Odorizzi, 2 away.
Now this is half of the story with Jake Odorizzi. We talk about him in the strike zone, little split changeup, and he keeps it out over the plate. Look at the finish, taking it below the zone. It presents itself as a strike early, and then it just disappears. And Alex Rodriguez over the top of it.
Masahiro Tanaka, the pitcher for the Yankees in tonight's game. You're going to see that from him as well. So 2 pitchers who feature that split. And now Mark Teixeira, the switch hitting first baseman, batting lefty. The shift is on as Evan Longoria has moved over to the second base side of second base. And the fastball tails outside for ball 1.
Evan Longoria playing a little hide and seek right here. Rays very aggressive. You know, really all around baseball. So much more prevalent now, the shift, the extreme shift.
There's that split change that you talk about. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, that was a pitch that Jake Odorizzi picked up last year coming into the 2014 season from Alex Cobb, who's so proficient at using that pitch with great results. Jake Odorizzi picked it up in spring training, brought it right into the season last year, not afraid to use it, and it's become a big weapon for him.
Throw back over to first. Wouldn't be surprised if Gardner tries to steal the next pitch or two. With 2 outs, get in scoring position with your cleanup hitter at the plate.
Well, you've got to wonder. You know, Jake Odorizzi, like we said, he's not easy to run on, not easy to get a good jump off of, but there he goes.
There he goes. The throw down. Not in time. Stolen base for Gardner.
And that was all about the jump, and you nailed it. And comes up had that wrist issue. Hope that he's all right, but look at the big jump there. And Rene Rivera did everything that he could, but no chance. A lot closer from that shot.
Yeah,
a lot
closer than it should have been.
Yeah. Well, those hands were up as he went to grip the bag, not going in fingers first, which is smart, especially with, you know, a couple of games that he missed with that bad wrist. See as those hands come up to grip that bag and that tag comes down. That is awfully close. Moot point now.
The 2-2 rolled over. Longoria underhand toss to first. Score that 5-3. Even though it's awkward, no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left on. Cash and the Rays. David DeJesus leads things off, and DH is Steven Souza Jr. bats second as Dribble Cabrera in the 3-hole. Cleanup, Evan Longoria, Desmond Jennings bats fifth. Alan Dykstra will bat sixth. Bottom third, Logan Forsythe, Brandon Guyer, and Rene Rivera to face Masahiro Tanaka. 1-1 on the season, a 7.00 ERA. First pitch fastball in there for a strike.
Well, it's been the 2 big innings we talked about and the keys to the game. And, you know, his first start against the Blue Jays, command of the fastball, elusive. His last start against the Red Sox, better. He battled, off speed, command, elusive. See if he can put it together here tonight.
0-1 curveball. No balls and 2 strikes.
The early season numbers here on Tanaka. 5 walks in 9 innings. Different for him.
Very different for the way he started his career with the Yankees last year. Ball up the middle, leadoff single for David DeJesus.
And don't you get the feeling, you know Tanaka loves the split as a put-away pitch. David DeJesus does a great job staying back on this pitch and going down and getting it. The one thing that you know about Tanaka is he tries to finish hitters below the zone. So an 0-2 count, look at DeJesus, stays right on it, head down, not fooled at all, uses the middle of the field. Well done.
David DeJesus on at first for Steven Souza Jr. 278, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs to start this year. Broken bat, flare to second. It is caught, says the umpire David Rackley. You can see Gregorio Petit tried to play it on a hop. This way they could have gotten a double play.
Absolutely, and that would have been the right play. I mean, pull that glove back, step back, anything. This is a soft little liner. And he did try to play it back, and it caught right in the webbing.
You know what I love about, though? The fact that it's a heads-up play.
Yeah.
He was thinking to do that.
Ball was hit just a little bit too hard.
As Dribble Cabrera steps to the plate. Not off to a good start. 196, no home runs, and 5 RBIs. Drew moves over to the second base side of the bag. First pitch, breaking ball in there, first strike, going 1. You got to wonder if you're Joe Girardi, if you're the Yankees, if you're Yankee fans out there. Every time you watch Tanaka pitch now, are you holding your breath? He has that slight tear in the ulnar ligament. One hopper to second. Easy play for Petit. Down to second goes DeJesus. 2 away. Let's take a look at the defense behind Tanaka. A couple plays already for Gregorio Petit. At second, the outfield from left to right, Brett Gardner, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Chris Young. Mark Teixeira at first, Petit at second, Stephen Drew at short, Chase Headley at third, and behind the plate is Brian McCann.
And going back to what you were talking about, I think that you would have to wonder. You know, if you're sitting at home and saying there's a partial tear in an ulnar collateral ligament, well, if he's pitching the same with the same mechanics and it's torn a little bit, when does it finally go all the way through? I think that's just the layperson without knowledge, direct knowledge of the situation. That's what they're thinking. Oh, and you combine it with the New York Yankees and what he did before the injury last year and how valuable he is to this ball club. I mean, he is their de facto ace, no question about it. Look at the numbers from last year, the contract that he was given. And that you would have to think that.
Yeah. 1 ball, no strikes to Evan Longoria, 235, a home run and 2 RBIs. Runner in scoring position with 2 outs here, bottom half of the first. Breaking ball misses up high, and these are the numbers that you're talking about. What he did before the injury and then since the injury, and it's not even close.
No, and he had 2 starts in September last year, and you can understand after being off all that time, they may be a little bit rusty, and then obviously not getting off to the start that he wanted here in 2015. And yeah, the numbers eye-popping, and that's why for me, when you watch Tanaka pitch, you look for the finish out in front. If the elbow feels good, you're going to finish out in front. That's the reach that gives you your command and the late life to your pitches. And for Tanaka, you think about the slider being sharp and late. You think about a little jump on the fastball, and you think about that split and having that good dive at the end. You start to see the slider roll, the fastball just kind of power into the glove with no late life, and the split just kind of tumbling. And then you wonder about his finish.
Larry Walchild, the pitching coach for the Yankees. 2 balls, 1 strike here to Longoria. Hughes shot off the end of the bat. Could be a tough play. McCann makes it in time to get Longoria. Nice play by Brian McCann to end the inning. We're through 1, no score. Yankees and Braves. Alongside Brian Anderson, Yankees and Rays, Brian McCann, Chris Young, Chase Headley to face Jake Odorizzi. And the first pitch fastball's in there for a strike. I think we've actually gotten to the point in baseball now where we should no longer say the shift is on. It's if there's no shift, that's bigger news. And he goes away from the shift and lines a base hit to left field. So McCann is now 6 for 11 in his career against Odorizzi.
And I think you're absolutely right. And that's why I think it'll be interesting to see how hitting evolves over time. Is, you know, it's like any sport. You start overloading, you know, the box in football, and you figure out an offense, a way to beat it, and the defense adjusts. Here you've got the shift going. Hitters are going to have to start using the whole field. If you want to defeat the shift, you've got to start hitting away from it. Brian McCann, a great job of it right there.
Now Chris Young steps in, 292, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. In the air to left field. Brendan Guyer coming in. And is there for the catch, 1 away.
You know, in fact, if you go back to last night's game, and you had brought up earlier about Brett Gardner stealing that bag, which led to the run scored on the Alex Rodriguez single to center field, that was all started by a Carlos Beltran ground ball the other way against the shift. Just do something to get on base. Put yourself in a position to bring in a pinch runner, steal a bag, and win a game.
Yeah. Chase Headley, the switch hitting third baseman, 205, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. And he takes the first pitch fastball for a strike. I'm actually curious how many hitters don't have a shift put on them nowadays. In the dirt, 1-1. We now welcome all of you who are watching the Red Sox and the Orioles play here at Tropicana Field. The Yankees and the Rays. Justin Kutcher alongside Brian Anderson. Top of the second, no score. Brian McCann led off with a single here in the second. Chris Young flew out to left, and now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Chase Headley. Jake Odorizzi on the mound. 2 strikeouts in the first. Looking for his third now. Goes outside, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kevin Cash, first year as a major league manager, just 37 years old. Taking over for a guy who did a pretty good job with the Rays.
Absolutely right. Joe Madden now in Chicago with the Cubs.
2-2, got him swinging there, strikeout number 3.
I'll tell you what, that split changeup here by Jake Odorizzi, very sharp in the early going, and I'll tell you what's selling it is the arm speed. I mean, he comes with a good arm speed. You see Chase Headley swinging at the arm, not the pitch. He sees it out over the plate, thinking fastball out in front and over the top. That's the key to any good changeup, is good arm speed. It has to mimic what you do with the fastball. Any little change, it's amazing how quickly these hitters can pick it up.
Stephen Drew, first pitch swinging, fouls it back.
That's why anytime you're talking to a young kid, you know, is learning how to pitch, you know, sometimes even, you know, a contemporary, you have to have the mindset on a changeup of a 4-seam fastball. And if you don't, you'll have a tendency to throw a changeup. And those, you typically asking for a new baseball.
Breaking ball in there for a strike, 0-2. You know, it's funny because go back to when you were in Little League, right? You thought a changeup was act like you're throwing a fastball, do all this, then throw down your arm speed and lob it over.
Right. That may work when you're 7.
The 0-2 from Odorizzi. Ground ball up the middle into that shift. And there to make the play is Longoria. That is a 5-6. 1 man left on. No score. Middle of the second. Yankees and Rays. Desmond Jennings, Alan Dykstra, Logan Forsythe. Do you see Chris Archer? We're going to talk to him the next half inning. Speaking of a guy who's off to a good start, 2-1, a 1.37 ERA. Coming off an 11 strikeout performance against Toronto. And the first pitch fastball to Jennings in there for a strike. Desmond Jennings, 216, no home runs, 2 RBIs on the year. Fastball's high and outside, 1-1.
Well, the Rays really trying to get Desmond Jennings going. You know, for a long time, kind of viewed him as a leadoff man, maybe a square peg trying to go into a round hole. And this year, move him a little bit back down in the order, hit him behind Evan Longoria, and let him drive in some runs. Let him be more aggressive. And I know that he came out in spring training, had a tremendous spring training, tore the cover off the baseball in March, and you saw right there the numbers. A little bit of a slow start here once the regular season has started, but Rays need to get him going.
2-1 breaking ball as pop foul out of play, 2-2.
It's part of the reason why Evan Longoria not seeing any pitches. You know, some disturbing numbers when you look at Evan Longoria, and his average has gone down a few points after his last at bat. But coming into this ball game, you know, a 235 average, not a whole lot with the production, but a 409 on base. That tells you teams are just, he's tied for the American League lead in walks with Jose Bautista. They're just not pitching to him.
2-2 fastball misses outside. Now 3-2 from Tanaka, and this is again a big difference with Tanaka after injury compared to before. He would put hitters away all the time when he first came up. Now he's having more and more difficulty. Spoiled foul by Jennings. We'll do it again at 3-2.
141 strikeouts in 136 and a third innings last year, 9.31 per 9. It was early in the count outs. If you went late in the count with them, be prepared to just turn around and take that walk back to the dugout.
Another 3-2. Line to center field. Ellsbury coming in, makes the catch. A hard hit out by Desmond Jennings for the first out here in the second.
First baseman, number 31, Alan Dykstra.
Alan Dykstra steps to the plate. Hit his first big league home run last night off the foul pole down the right field line.
He was pressed into service when James Loney went on the disabled list with a little oblique issue.
He offered, says home plate umpire Bob Davidson. This is last night. And he drilled that pitch.
Hooking. And right off the fencing, off the pole. That gave the Rays a 3-2 lead. Logan Forsythe followed that up with a solo shot to make it 4-2. And then, of course, it was the Alex Rodriguez blast in the sixth that tied it up.
You could see Tanaka and McCann try to work Alan Dykstra inside, jamming him both times, having the count 0-2.
Yeah, and 89 looked like he cut that fastball right there. And if you're going to do that to a left-handed hitter, you want to start that inner third and cut it right at the hands. Executed very well.
Now he goes outside, and Dykstra chases for the first strikeout for Masahiro Tanaka.
Second baseman, number 11, Logan Forsythe.
A little off speed, looked like a split right there. That split actually stayed up. Not a whole lot of finish on it, a little bit of fade, and Dykstra just missed it.
2 away, bottom half of the second for Logan Forsythe. Fastball is outside. 1 ball and no strikes. 297, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs on the season for Forsythe. Breaking ball, 1-1.
And Masahiro Tanaka gives you a lot to think about. So that little cutter to Dykstra, of course, the split, the fastball, slider, a curve. Gives you a big range to work with in the miles per hour, and a lot of pitches stuffed in there.
Jam shot. Headley going back on the outfield grass. A 1-2-3 inning work by Masahiro Tanaka. When we come back, we'll speak with Chris Archer of the Rays here on Fox Sports 1. Game Yankees and Rays. Gregorio Petit will face Jake Odorizzi. We're joined now by one of the starters for the Rays, Chris Archer. Chris, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on, guys.
First pitch breaking ball, misses down low for ball one. Chris, you're off to a heck of a start, 2-1, a 1.37 ERA, and you look at the rotation for you guys and what you've done without Alex Cobb, without Drew Smyly, without Matt Moore. What has been the mindset for not only you but the entire staff entering this season?
Well, I've been saying this since day one, but you know, Jake and I, we know what we're capable of, and the stuff that Carnes possesses, harnessing that, we know that he's able to go out there and keep us in games and pitch deep and really grow. So you know, our mindset's been the same, whether all those guys were in the rotation or not. Our mindset's the same. It's to go as deep as possible with the pitch count that we're given on that night. Whether we're pitching in the second slot or the third slot, fourth slot, fifth slot, the impression that James Shields and David Price left on us was to go as deep as you possibly can. That's your number one goal. And the fact that Jake Odorizzi went 8 innings last game, and Carnes has gone 7, and myself, I've gone 7 a couple times.
You're getting bombarded in there.
Under attack.
That just goes to show, like, our mindset, regardless, whether all these guys were healthy, that's what we were thinking the entire time.
The 3-2 pitch. Strikeout number 4 for Odorizzi already here in the third inning.
You know, Chris, how much information sharing goes on, you know, with the starting staff? We know that the camaraderie has always been good with the Rays starters, but how much information sharing, things that you guys are noticing about different hitters, how much of that is shared on the bench during the game?
Yeah, BA, we're all a little bit different, so we approach guys differently, to be honest. I think our pitching coach, Jim Hickey, and our bullpen coach, Stan Borowski, and then all the front office guys, they do a great job of providing us with more specific, more detailed scouting reports on how we, like myself specifically, would need to face Jacoby Ellsbury versus how Jake Odorizzi needs to face Jacoby Ellsbury.
The count's 0-1 to Ellsbury. And now it's 0-2. I want to talk to you about something not on the field but off the field. You've been traded a couple of times already in your career before you made it to the big leagues. Once for Mark DeRosa, once for Matt Garza. What is it like to from one team to the next? And at what point do you realize, you know what, this is a business, it's not a game? A pop up behind the plate. Rivera makes a nice play up against the screen for the second out.
I think you realize after the first one, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't want to.
Is there that shock when the first time you get dealt?
Yeah, because you envision yourself making it with the team that you get drafted by, and you know, in reality, for a lot of guys, that's just not the case. So you realize it's a business, and you think about it more as the guy who wants you as opposed to the guy who doesn't want you. And you know, honestly, from early on in life, I learned that lesson. So it may affect other guys a little bit differently, but you know, they put up a stat earlier, like a little guessing game. I got cut from my 7th grade baseball team, my middle school baseball team in 7th grade.
They made a mistake.
Yeah, so you know, just having an understanding that not everybody views you the same, and not to, you know, put too much into what other people think about you, and being confident in yourself, and trusting your family and trusting your close friends, and not really putting too much stock into what other people think, because that can't define you. What other people think about you cannot define you. It's really about what you think about yourself. And you know, I learned that at a young age, and I just applied it to my job as well.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I think very highly of you for doing this interview, as you've been getting pelted by your teammates and having water dumped on you.
Yeah.
We're going to give you a layup now. Okay. Do you have a dog in the fight in the NBA playoffs?
I do not.
You do not?
No.
NHL?
I got to go with the Lightning, man. They showed me a lot of love since I've been here in Tampa Bay. I've been able to meet the guys, and they're really humble, down-to-earth guys, just like baseball players. And you don't really know before you meet them, because they're tough guys. Some of them walk around missing teeth, and they're fighting all the time on the ice. But, you know, in reality, they're normal people, just like you and I, just like everybody watching. And they enjoy other sports, and they enjoy meeting other guys.
Well, Chris, we appreciate you taking the time and talking with us, and best of luck the rest of the way this year.
Thank you guys very much. I enjoyed being on.
And now go dump some water and throw some seeds in your teammates.
Yeah.
2 balls, 2 strikes. The count hitter Brett Gardner, 2 outs. Top of the 3rd, scoreless game. The Yankees and the Rays. We do appreciate Chris Archer taking the time to talk with us. Really good kid. And Gardner goes down swinging. 5 strikeouts through 3 innings for Odorizzi. How good of a sport was Chris Archer? This is what he was dealing with. Oh, pelted. The Rays to face Masahiro Tanaka. No score. Brendan Guyer will lead things off. And newsflash, no shift for Brendan Guyer. And the fastball's in there for a strike, 0-1.
Well, it's either a limited sample size of data that the Yankees have, or Brendan Guyer will use the whole field.
And outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. I think it's he'll use the whole field because they shifted on Dykstra.
Yeah.
They've got data from the minor leagues. One popped up in the infield. Petit calling for it. 1 away. Well, pitch, hit, and run presented by Scott's is the official youth skills competition of Major League Baseball. It's free for boys and girls ages 7 through 14. Play your way to the national finals and have the chance to compete during All-Star Week in Cincinnati. Find a local competition in your area at pitchhitrun.com. One of my favorite commercials is Scott's. Feed your lawn. Feed it. I love the accent that he has.
I love the beard.
On away now for Rene Rivera. In the air to center. Ellsbury going back to a right. Couple of quick outs here in the third for Tanaka. David DeJesus will step to the plate. He singled his first time up.
Well, that's what you're used to seeing. And we talked about that a little bit earlier, early in the count outs. I mean, this is a guy last year that averaged under 15 pitches, which is the benchmark. You'd love to get in a perfect world 15 pitches an inning. Tanaka was at 14-7. So he gets quick outs, or like I said, you go deep in a count at your own risk.
First pitch fastball taken all the way was DeJesus. And Tanaka, a workhorse when he came in. I mean, think about this. He began his major league career with 18 consecutive starts of at least 6 innings.
Consistency. A guy that you can count on, a bullpen saver.
People throw around the term ace far too easily. Not every team has an ace. There are probably only a handful of true aces in baseball. He was one of them when he came in last year.
Stepping onto the stage of the New York Yankees in New York City and the way that he performed, you're absolutely right.
Curveball misses. 2 balls and a strike to DeJesus.
Well, the one thing that we've seen here tonight is he has emptied the arsenal. He's throwing everything up here at these Rays hitters. Fastball command has been better. He's been better with his off speed.
Another breaking ball. 3 balls and a strike. Speaking yesterday to the Yankee broadcasters, Ken Singleton and John Flaherty, I asked Flaherty, as a catcher, what do you do when a guy doesn't have that arm strength yet? He said, you do what McCann's doing, a lot of off-speed pitches, and try to sneak a fastball past him. Speed up that fastball for the pitcher.
You almost pitch backwards, and Tanaka can do that. You know, he can lead with his fastball, finish with the breaking stuff, but he's good enough, smart enough, has enough experience to lead with, you know, not the entire game, but to really feature the off speed and then to sneak in that fastball. He's got enough offerings to continue to keep you off balance, but fastball command still rules the day.
The payoff pitch got him looking. Second strikeout for Tanaka. A 10-pitch inning for Masahiro Tanaka. Alex Rodriguez will lead off for the Yankees to open up the 4th. They're booing, they're cheering. Means Alex Rodriguez is stepping into the plate. And the first pitch, he waves at that splitter. 0-1. Rodriguez struck out his first time up, one of 5 strikeout victims so far for Odorizzi. And you see he's 2 home runs shy of tying Willie Mays for 4th all-time on the home run list. Back-to-back splitters. Last night, the first of 2 home runs, the longest home run in Major League Baseball this year, estimated 471 feet. So I guess he still has some pop.
Yes, he does.
3 straight splitters, 3 straight waves and misses.
Well, Alex Rodriguez showed this Rays pitching staff that he could handle the fastball out over the plate last night. And here, Jake Odorizzi, the 3rd of those changeups, and he just cannot stay back. And again, the great arm speed by Odorizzi, the good finish on the pitch, and the awkward swing by Alex Rodriguez.
Teixeira takes the first pitch breaking ball for a ball. Grounded out. Really to second base his first time up, but Longoria was over there to make the play. Rolls one over to second. This time it's Forsythe from the outfield, 2 away.
Well, the one thing that Kevin Cash did say, he was asked about that Carlos Beltran hit last night that burnt the shift, led to the Yankees win, and he said it doesn't matter. He said there's so much data behind everything that we do. Nothing is by chance, and if a guy beats it every now and then, you know what? You tip your cap to him.
Right.
What are you going to do? How about his career trajectory, Kevin Cash?
Brian McCann takes the first pitch for a ball. Just 37 years old is Kevin Cash. Kind of came out of nowhere to become the manager this year.
No, you know, he was in catcher in the big leagues 8 years. All of a sudden he becomes an advanced scout for the Toronto Blue Jays. So here you look at it right here.
I mean, you go from a bullpen coach
to
the manager
for 2 years. Well, listen, first of all, he's bullpen coach for Terry Francona, and he became very highly recommended. I think it was after, that interview with the Texas Rangers that went so well, a finalist for that job, and that really picked up steam. He came in, obviously, with more experience from that. Comes into the Rays and becomes a finalist and wins it.
Kudos to him. He won me over today when in his office he has the picture of Bo Jackson in the football shoulder pads with the bat behind him, and it's signed by Bo. That's the only picture on the wall in the office. That's the only picture he needs, because that is just awesome. 2 balls and 2 strikes to McCann, who singled his first time up.
His office represents his managing style. No frills. He's a guy that wants to manage from behind a little bit. He doesn't want to be out in front of everybody, and he'll let the players do their thing, and let's go all the way back.
He's a Tampa native, was on the Little League World Series team from Northside Little League. Gaither High School in Tampa, went to Florida State University of Seminole, part of that 2007 World Series championship team with Boston. As McCann lines one to center, coming in as Jennings, so play this one a bounce. And a 2-out single for McCann, who is now 2 for 2 in his career against Odorizzi, is now 7 for 12. Brian McCann came in hitting 179. I think he may have seen Odorizzi pitching, and maybe the only guy in baseball right now that has a smile on his face.
When you have numbers like that, it goes 2 ways. First of all, it's obvious that Brian McCann sees the ball well off of Jake Odorizzi, but you're starting to give Jake Odorizzi enough information to be able to go back and say, okay, what am I doing wrong here?
Yeah.
What is not working, and how do I make the adjustment? And that's what will be up to him.
Chris Young with 2 outs and a runner on at first. And that first pitch curveball got away, 1-0.
Well, the one thing that Kevin Cash, when we were talking to him, and he was talking about Jake Odorizzi, he said he is very adept at following a game plan, being able to digest a game plan and then go out and execute. So he needs to figure out something new against Brian McCann.
Fastball on the outside corner, first strike, 1-1. Still scoreless, top of the 4th. Yankees and Rays. Yankees won last night's opener 5-4. thanks in large part to Alex Rodriguez in the bullpen of the Yankees. Missing down low, 2-1.
And the challenge for Joe Girardi will be how to limit the innings of that bullpen. You know, they've thrown the ball very well this year, third in the American League in ERA, but they're also second in the American League in innings pitched. Now, a 19-inning game doesn't help.
Yeah.
But still, that will be, he needs some length out of his starters.
2-1, check swing, the appeal to first. He did not go, says David Rackley, and now it's 3-1 to Chris Young. Good call. The bullpen last night, 5 scoreless innings, 7 strikeouts, allowed just 2 hits and 1 walk. Ground ball, shortstop Cabrera has to go to first because nobody's at second to cover with a shift. No runs on a hit, 1 man left on. We're through 3.5, still no score. NASCAR's best drivers take on the world's fastest half mile in the Food City 500 in support of Steve Burns and Stand Up to Cancer. Coverage begins at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Bottom half of the fourth, Steven Souza Jr. will lead things off here against Masahiro Tanaka. And the first pitch fastball in there for a strike. Now first pitch strike to 9 of the 11 batters that he has faced for Tanaka. One got him swinging, no balls and 2 strikes.
And what that does is it allows you to start expanding the zone early. You know, the one thing that you want to do as a pitcher is be in the zone early and then start expanding as the count moves on, as the at-bat moves on, to eventually you get a guy to hit your pitch, to go off of the plate, make poor contact.
Left that one up high, 1-2.
I like the idea, though. You know, we talked about Tanaka finishing most hitters off on pitches below the zone, whether it be with the slider or the split. Every now and then you got to show him that pitch up, change an eye level.
Let's see if that was the purpose pitch. Gets him looking. Back-to-back strikeouts for Tanaka. Struck out to Jesus looking to end the third. Now strikes out Souza looking to open the fourth.
Well, he wanted this split again below the zone. He doesn't want to throw it right there, but it freezes Steven Souza Jr. And the previous pitch, the purpose pitch, yeah, and it serves too. If you want to swing at it, great. You can't do anything with it. If you take it, it sets up my next pitch, and I pick up a strikeout.
He was lucky right there because that was a mistake. That just stayed up there. Asdrubal Cabrera grounded out to second his first time up. Takes the first pitch, first strike. The 0-1 from Tanaka. Fouled back. No balls and 2 strikes.
Asdrubal Cabrera, the big offseason acquisition as far as free agents go for the Tampa Bay Rays, comes over from the Washington Nationals, where he finished last year playing second base. And so, you know, shortstop his entire career. This is his ninth year in the big leagues. Finishes at second base, but the Rays said in spring training, hey, listen, shortstop, it's an open competition. And he was able to nail that job down. After he had told the Rays, you know, he said, listen, I'll play second base, but what I want to do is I want to be at one position. I don't want to be jumping back and forth between short and second. And he ended up winning that job pretty early on in spring training. And the Rays feel like there's a lot left for Cabrera.
The 1-2 from Tanaka. Gets him looking. 91, runs it back in. That's 3 straight strikeouts for Masahiro Tanaka, all looking.
Very similar to the strikeout of David DeJesus to finish off the 3rd inning. The fastball in, it just freezes a hitter. A little bit of late run. Picks up the zone, picks up the out.
Two away here in the 4th for Evan Longoria. First pitch is up high for ball 1. Longoria tapped out in front of home plate his first time up. Breaking ball spins in there, first strike, 1-1. Both pitchers attacking the hitters so far. Combined 10 strikeouts and no walks between Odorizzi and Tanaka. Off the end of the bat, popped up in the infield. Teixeira calling for it in foul territory. Back to back, 1, 2, 3 innings by Tanaka. And total strikeouts. Chase Headley leading off here in the 5th and takes the fastball up and in for ball 1.
I think what you're going to see and what you need to see from both of these lineups is to get aggressive early. Both of these pitchers have seized the initiative and set the tone. A lot of first pitch strikes. And once they seize that momentum, then they've been able to expand the zone and get some easy outs. So you expect these hitters to go up there ready to hit.
Good hitters count and a good pitch by Odorizzi. 2-1.
That's how you combat that. When you do fall behind, you go with off speed right to the corner. Chase Headley up there sitting dead red, looking for the fastball, doesn't get it.
Gets a fastball there, or maybe not. That was another splitter and pulls that one foul.
That's how good it's been. You were fooled by the arm speed.
I was.
And we know, Chase Headley, the switch hitting third baseman for the New York Yankees, he loves the fastball from both sides of the plate. Jake Odorizzi very aware of that in his approach.
Let me ask you a question, because you described that splitter as like a split change. And it's not often that a righty will come inside with a changeup. Is it different because it's a splitter? 3-2 gets him looking on the outside corner. 7 strikeout for Odorizzi.
He had convinced Chase Headley that the fastball was not going to come, and guess what? In a full count, he's able to locate right to the outside corner. 90 miles an hour right there. Great pitch. That's one of those things that's just a matter of what they call the pitch. I mean, some people will call that change up a split change. Some will call it a straight splitter. I mean, the fingers are definitely split on the side of that. That Jake Odorizzi and Alex Cobb, refer to it as a change up or a split change. But what they will do, the more comfortable you get with that pitch, you'll start to change location with it. Throw it in, throw it away. To the lefties, you're trying to throw it like he just did right there, kind of on the plate, and then run it off. A lot of times they'll throw it right out over the plate, and especially if you've got good finish that night, and let it dart below the zone.
Steven Drew to left field. Going back is Geyer on the warning track there to make the catch. 2 away.
I think that just becomes a feel on that pitch on that specific day. Obviously, it's going to be a big part of what Tanaka does, what Odorizzi does. But if they've got great feel for it that night, then you can start to get creative with it.
Gregorio Petit struck out his first time up. 7 strikeouts for Odorizzi through 4 2/3. First pitch curveball in their first strike at 69 miles per hour. Ground ball, second base. Forsythe handles it, and a 1-2-3 inning worked by Odorizzi. We hit the bottom half of the 5th. Still no score. Yankees and Rays. everything you've ever seen before as two rival Miami gyms collide in a complete reinvention of the Ultimate Fighter franchise. Don't miss the exciting season premiere Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1. Desmond Jennings to face Masahiro Tanaka leading off the fifth. And the first pitch slider is low and outside for ball one. I will not go in that pool.
I'm with you.
I won't even put my hand in the pool.
No. Not sure what they would do.
Up and in, 2 balls and no strikes.
Although it doesn't say a whole lot for us when you see children not afraid to put their hand in the pool.
No, I think ignorance is bliss.
I'm not a big water guy.
Yeah, me neither. That's what it says.
Yeah.
Tanaka's 2-0. To right field. In the gap. Chris Young goes over to make the catch. Masahiro Tanaka gave up a leadoff single to David DeJesus. Since then, he has retired 13 in a row.
And I think the most impressive thing about it, as the Rays have gone through the lineup for the second time, Masahiro Tanaka has tightened things up. First 3 hitters, DeJesus, Souza, and Cabrera, as they've seen him for the second time, all strike out looking. He has sharpened things up as this game continues to move forward.
Alan Dykstra steps in. And the backdoor breaking ball misses for ball one.
And I'll tell you what, you're sitting there on the bench too, and you're watching Jake Odorizzi going out there and throwing up zeros and doing it efficiently. And you're saying, listen, this could be a one-run type of game. I can't afford to give up anything, and that mentally will lock you in like nothing else.
Goes to that backdoor breaking ball again. 1 ball and 1 strike. 49 pitches for Tanaka through 4 1/3.
Efficient. That's what you're used to seeing with Masahiro Tanaka.
Fastball is inside. 2-1. And Tanaka, only 26 years old. You think about New York. Matt Harvey had Tommy John. Look what he's done in his return. You've got Tanaka. If he can stay healthy, those 2 guys as aces in New York, that could be pretty cool.
For a while. I mean, you've got some years there to play with both of these guys. I'll tell you that Tanaka, what's so impressive about him, Matt Harvey is a power guy, and he can just blow you away with stuff. Tanaka, it's the pitchability. It's good stuff, crisp stuff, but the ability to move it around and make hitters look foolish.
He offered on the pitch. Strikeout number 5 for Tanaka. 2 away here in the 5th. That's what is so impressive about this guy. Is 26 years old, young guy, but he knows how to pitch. Even when he doesn't have his best stuff, he's able to stay in games and work hitters. It's an art to be able to sequence pitches, to have a game plan, to throw a pitch, see a hitter's reaction, and immediately know with what pitch and what location I want to go next. And then you do that. When you can execute that, it's like playing a video game. You put that little cursor down and away, pick your pitch, and let it go to work. It becomes fun. You get into a rhythm, and you feel like you are going to have a great night. And most of the time you do. Ahead in the count, 0-2 to Logan Forsythe, who popped out to third base his first time up.
Conversely, if you're having an off night and struggling just a little bit, he's got enough pitches, and still he's got the mind that he can stay in the game, buy himself some time by
fastball in the outside corner, called strike 3. 15 in a row retired by Tanaka. Those kids are much more brave than us. 400 devices with MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more every night on every device. Visit MLB.TV for details. Never thought I'd get to say widget in a promo read. A little pop-up to left field. Brandon Geyer there for the catch. One pitch, one out here as Jacoby Ellsbury is retired in the 6th.
I know I counted a lot of widgets in the 6th grade.
I don't think I ever did.
Number 11, Brett Gardner.
Brett Gardner steps to the plate. He singled and stole a base back in the 1st. The only time the Yankees have had a runner in scoring position in this game against Jake Odorizzi. And the fastball is high outside for ball 1. Gardner missed 3 games with a sore right wrist. Pinch ran last night. They had the off day on Thursday. Outside, 2-0. Again, when Odorizzi falls behind, second time we've seen him with a 2-0 count, and he goes to that splitter.
Well, that's what's so frustrating for a hitter when a pitcher can do that. You know, they're banking on that 2-0 fastball. But these pitchers tonight have been in such control of their game and command of their pitches that they're not afraid in a hitter's count to go off speed.
So now 3-1, 2-0. He went with that off speed. 3-1. What do you do when you've got Alex Rodriguez on deck?
Well, and that 2-0 changeup, what that does here to Brett Gardner, he's not fully convinced he's going to get that fastball. You start to creep into the back of a hitter's mind. And look what he does. Comes back with another changeup right there to get to full count. Now what? Now, okay, you're Brett Gardner. You've seen a 2-0 changeup to get the 2-1. You've seen a 3-1 changeup to get the full count. What's he going to come with here?
I'd go back to the changeup.
And Brett Gardner's just thinking, I've got to protect. Try to stay alive.
Missing inside with a changeup. And that is the first walk of the game issued by either pitcher. A 1-out walk puts Gardner up for Alex Rodriguez, who is chasing history. Barry Bonds, the all-time home run leader. Hank Aaron in second. Babe Ruth third. Those are the only 3 with 700 home runs, and Willie Mays at 660. And Alex Rodriguez is 2 behind Willie Mays, and obviously all the talk because of Alex Rodriguez's history with PEDs. Is it a big deal anymore? You hear the boos right now. What he has done, first pitch in the dirt, 1-0, is at the very least, he's made the conversation interesting with his performance thus far this year. Because had he come out and, you know, hit a .190 with 20 strikeouts, no home runs, and everybody would, you know, start talking one way. Now they start thinking maybe this guy really is a special talent. Or they start thinking other things.
Yeah, well, there's no question about that. The numbers that he has put up over the years, I think what he's been able to accomplish this year after sitting out, and it's early in the season still, but the timing has been there. Production has been there, leading the team in every offensive category.
In the dirt, 2 balls and no strikes to Rodriguez.
And his performance thus far has made the Yankees must-watch TV. I mean, this is you start tuning in. What's he doing? He's closing in on Willie Mays. He's off to a great start. You listen to the reaction that he gets. Always mixed, but always a reaction.
Right. He's a lightning rod. I mean, there's no other way to describe him. You either love him or you love to hate him. And more people these days love to hate him than love him. Two balls, no strikes, 1 out with Gardner on at first. There goes Gardner. Pitches outside. The throw down, not in time. Second stolen base for Gardner.
Jake Odorizzi victimized just 4 times last year, and here twice tonight by the same guy, Brett Gardner, who got the Rays last night. Another great jump. Picked a pretty good pitch to run on. Rene Rivera, good effort to get it down there, but just Brett Gardner, the jump and the speed, too much.
3 balls, no strikes. Scoreless game. Turn him loose.
Absolutely. Absolutely green light.
He took, and look what he got. That changeup again. And you kind of knew that's what Odorizzi was going to throw.
Well, you've got that base open over there, and you're not just going to throw a 3-0 fastball out over the plate with what he did last night, getting extended, drilling the baseball. You've been able to put him away with changeups.
I think changeup again here. 3-2.
And why not? You know, he struck him out in his last at bat with 3 in a row.
Yep.
So, you know, hitters don't often do this. But if you're Alex Rodriguez, you almost sit changeup right here.
They're making some noise here at the Trop. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runner on second, scoreless game, and Alex Rodriguez at the plate. 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. The payoff pitch. Just missing for ball 4, and it was another changeup.
And it was the first one that he recognized and took. He's swung at every changeup thrown tonight. And there in the full count, he's able to see that pitch out of the hand down, take it down. Great shot at it there. That pitch starting, you see, just at the knees before burying itself at the bottom of the feet.
I like that call, though, from Rene Rivera. Don't give him the fastball there. You've got first base open. He's the only guy in the lineup who's really hitting for New York. Take your chances with Teixeira. Teixeira, check swing. No appeal.
Well, what's the old adage? You know, you're going to pick a guy out of the lineup and say, don't let so-and-so beat you. Well, the way that this Yankee lineup is constituted right now, that guy is Alex Rodriguez. And so with the runner out there at second base, you're not going to give him anything good to hit. If he wants to go outside the zone for you, that's fine, but nothing out over there fat for him.
2 balls and no strikes to Teixeira, who's 0 for 2 with 2 groundouts. And now the pitching coach Jim Hickey will come out to speak to Odorizzi. The first sign of really any trouble for Odorizzi in this game. Again, Gardner got to second back in the first with 2 outs, and now it's first and second, 1 out after back-to-back walks to Gardner and Rodriguez, and he's fallen behind 2-0 here to Teixeira.
And this could be, you know, with Jim Hickey going out there, this could be something that he sees mechanical or something in his sequencing, because you've got the walk to Gardner, lost him, stolen base, then you end up walking Alex Rodriguez. Not as big of a sin with the count that he was in, but now you've fallen behind Teixeira 2-0.
And again, every time we've seen Odorizzi fall behind, he's gone to that changeup. The fear here is if you leave that changeup out over the plate for Teixeira, he could put one over the seats or the fence there into the seats in right field.
Conversely, if you get it into a good spot, you maybe get a ground ball double play. Get out of this inning.
Comes back with a fastball, catches the corner for a strike, 2-1.
Right at the bottom of the strike zone. And Jake Odorizzi, when you talk about getting a ground ball double play, he had 1 all of last year in 31 starts.
2-1, missing outside. Now 3 balls and a strike. A big spot in the game for Odorizzi and for the Yankees and Mark Teixeira, with Brian McCann on deck, who's 2 for 2 and loves to hit against Jake Odorizzi. The 3-1. Called strike 2, 3-2.
Well, that's how all of the off-speed, the changeups, have put the doubt in the Yankee hitter's mind. How many times will you see Mark Teixeira take a 3-1 fastball right down Broadway in a run-producing situation?
He's got 3 home runs and 5 RBIs on the year. The payoff pitch, and he went to the changeup and got him swinging.
It's all the work early in the game that won him that at-bat against Teixeira. Teixeira takes the 3-1 fastball down the middle, swings at the split changeup below the zone. That's a ball.
Wow. So now it's Brian McCann, who's 2 for 2. The rest of the Yankee batters, the rest of all the batters in this game are a combined 2 for 34.
The man of the hour, the matchup of the game thus far for Jake Odorizzi.
And the first pitch changeup misses down low and outside for ball 1. McCann single to left field his first time up, to center field his last time up. Off to a slow start again for the Yankees in his second year with New York. Fastball's in there for a strike, 1-1. There's something about putting those pinstripes on for players. It's not easy.
No, it's not. It's a different stage. Lights burn a little bit brighter in the city. And Brian McCann had good power production numbers, 23 and 75. It was just.
And he gets into one to right field. Back is Souza Jr. at the wall. It's off the wall. Gardner will score. Rodriguez will score. This ball comes all the way back towards the infield. McCann is heading to third with a triple. Brian McCann does it again for the Yankees against Odorizzi.
First 2 hits on the fastball. Jake goes to the split change, and Brian McCann able to go out and barrel it with one hand and get enough carry that he gets it over the head of Steven Souza Jr. right off the top of the wall. Look at this. Right off the yellow striping up there at the top of the wall, and then it's bounding all the way back in towards the infield. Brian McCann doesn't stop until he gets to third base, and the Yankees with the lead.
A 2-run triple, just the 4th career triple for Brian McCann.
Well, helped out by the metal piping above that wall out there and the ricochet.
So Chris Young at the plate, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Look at this. Wow.
Inches from a 3-run blast.
Chris Young out in front of that. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, how about Brian McCann's mastery of Jake Odorizzi? Came in with great numbers and has been even better than that tonight. 3 for 3 and a 2-run triple.
The 1-2. Fouled back this way. We'll do it again. So here's Brian McCann's numbers against Jake Odorizzi in his career. 8 for 13. 2 home runs, a double, and a triple. Who was the player that you, when they came up, you're like,
Shane Andrews. Shane Andrews, hands down. 8 for 10 with 5 bombs. It didn't matter what I threw up there.
Well, Chris Young just took strike 3. Did not like the call by Bob Davidson, but a 2-run triple by McCann gives the Yankees a 2-0 lead. Baseball. We go to the bottom half of the 6th inning here in St. Pete at the Trop. Justin Kutcher alongside Brian Anderson. It's 2-0 New York over Tampa as Brendan Guyer will lead things off against Masahiro Tanaka. First pitch down low for ball 1, 1-0. Guyer popped out to second his first time up. A pitcher's duel here in Tampa. Foul out of play behind home plate, 1-1. And Brian, you said it best just during the break. These two pitchers are throwing so well. The only 2 walks in the game are the 2 runs in the game.
We were wondering who was going to blink first, and Jake Odorizzi with the walk to Brett Gardner, and then following that to Alex Rodriguez, and they come around on the triple by McCann.
Outside, now 2 balls and a strike. Bottom half of the 6th inning, Masahiro Tanaka gave up a leadoff single to open this game to David DeJesus. Since then, nobody has reached base in a Rays uniform. Line drive to left field. Now somebody else has reached base. Guyer on his way to second, and he is in there with a leadoff double.
Well, the Rays looking to answer here, and Brandon Guyer gets a rare mistake by Tanaka. Out over the plate, allows himself to get extended and rifles that ball to the wall and left. Immediate threat here for Tampa Bay.
15 in a row had been retired by Tanaka. Now a leadoff double for Guyer. His 3rd double of the year brings up Rene Rivera. Flew out to center field his first time up. Good first pitch breaking ball by Tanaka, 0-1.
This is where Masahiro Tanaka last year, 196 average with runners in scoring position. He would really toughen up in these types of situations. Got his work cut out for him here, though, with that runner out there, nobody out. Brandon Guyer, that leadoff double.
McCann goes through the signs. Rivera stepping almost out of the box with his back foot. 0-2.
One of the best split fingers that we've seen from Tanaka all night. He really threw that with conviction, and he had the late dip at the end. You know, some of them have stayed flat, stayed in the zone. Not that one. Now we can look to try to put Rivera away with something out of the zone.
A long look back, the 0-2. And Rivera just able to foul that one away.
Well, Rene Rivera right now is in survival mode, and he's looking to lengthen that swing, do anything that he can at this point. You'd love to drive Brandon Guyer in, but at the very minimum, you want to move him over to third base with less than 2 outs.
And this is where having a productive out means something. People talk about strikeouts, they're just an out. No, they're not just an out. If you can get that runner to third base, now you can score that run in a fly ball.
Well, this Yankee pitching staff, it leads the league in strikeouts coming into play. They know how to put guys away, Tanaka being one of them. But you're absolutely right. Productive outs, you get a lot of high fives in that dugout.
Another 0-2 pitch, and he strikes him out. Big strikeout for Tanaka. That's the 7th K of the game for Masahiro Tanaka. Bottom half of the 6th, 2-0 Yankees lead the Rays. Justin Kutcher alongside Brian Anderson and BA. Both pitchers have looked really good so far, but how about Tanaka? Because we talked about it. With that injury to his elbow, is he the same pitcher? What have you seen from him tonight? Your evaluation as a guy who's been through 2 Tommy Johns.
Well, what I've seen from him tonight is the finish is there, and he's gotten better as the game has gone on. You know, early on, some of the sliders look to be rolling just a little bit. As it's moved on, the fastball command has been good. He's been able to expand the zone when need be, and the split is getting better. You saw the one in the previous at-bat to Rivera. A good one right there to David DeJesus. dips below the swing. That's the same pitch that David DeJesus was able to hammer up the middle for a base hit, leading this game off.
No balls, 1 strike to DeJesus. Singled his first time up, struck out looking his last time up. In the dirt, good stop by McCann. 1 ball and 1 strike.
The other thing that you've seen from Tanaka is that ability to use all of his pitches on both sides of the plate. The fastball, he's running it away from the righties, away from the lefties, challenging guys in, a number of strikeouts, looking in on lefties, the little front door two-seamer, cut the ball, little slider, split, occasional curveball.
Slow breaking ball drops in. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
See, that's it. And he's working with a range of about 20 miles an hour. You know, from the low 70s into the low 90s. But you're sprinkling in 3, 4, 5 pitches in between.
It's fun to watch.
It really is. It's pitching. It's pitching at its core.
Tanaka shakes off the sign. Now he's going to step off. We saw C.J. Riefenhauser warming up in the bullpen, the lefty for the Rays. The only lefty down there in the pen for Tampa Bay. McCann goes through his signs again and again. Tanaka will step off. So you have an idea that Tanaka, he knows what pitch he wants to throw right now.
Slowing the game down just a little bit. You know, you've got an anxious hitter up there that's down in the count 1 and 2.
Fouled straight back. He went with a fastball, 93. That may have been the hardest pitch he's thrown tonight.
Well, he just continues to get better and better, still efficient with the pitch count. And that fastball had that late life. I think he was trying to get that up and over the swing of David DeJesus. But what that pitch does is set up some others.
Right.
He can go split below the zone. He could go with the front door sinker and try to get him like he got him his last time up. The key with that pitch, if you're going to go there, you better get it in there. David DeJesus, a good veteran hitter.
Another 1-2. Out again by DeJesus. Good at bat here with these 2 strikes, just staying alive.
Well, that's one thing that we've seen from this Ray team here in the early going, the ability to be in attack mode early, be a team that's ready to hit when they go up to the plate, but not afraid to work counts, get extended at bats, see a lot of pitches, and they've done a lot of damage with 2 strikes.
Again, a long time with Tanaka and McCann going through these signs. Another 1-2. Again, it's DeJesus just fouling it off and staying alive.
Tough pitches. Trying to get the bat out there, foul it off, stay alive, and hope for that one mistake.
And this is what I'm wondering. As McCann goes out to Tanaka, you always see Tanaka has a translator. Apparently, he speaks some English.
In this situation, you only need to know a couple of things.
7th pitch of the at-bat coming up here. Tanaka against DeJesus with 1 out, bottom half of the 6th. A leadoff double by Brandon Guyer, a strikeout to Rene Rivera. And Tanaka is looking for his 8th strikeout of the game. The 1-2. Breaking ball got him swinging. There is strikeout number 8. Time for a game break. Let's go to L.A. and check in with Kevin Burkhardt.
Number 20, Steven Souza Jr.
Well, I like when a pitcher has his teammates back.
No question. No question. And guess what? His teammates love that. When you go out there and protect one of your own. Early season fisticuffs. Off and running.
Steven Souza Jr. steps in. He's 0 for 2. A line out to second and a strikeout looking his last time up. Tanaka trying to get around the leadoff double by Brandon Geyer here in the 6th. Ground ball third base. Headley handles it across the diamond, and Tanaka gets out of that jam. He did so well last year with runners in scoring position. Does it again here tonight. MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat now. Top of the 7th, bottom third of the order for New York. Chase Headley, Stephen Drew, Gregorio Petit to face Jake Odorizzi, leading 2-0. Headley 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. 1 ball, 1 strike. Odorizzi threw 27 pitches in that 6th inning. A couple of walks and then a 2-run triple off literally the top of the wall by Brian McCann. Headley chases one up high. Now 1-2. CJ Riefenhauser continues to throw out there in the bullpen for Tampa. Spoiled foul. Stays 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, Jake Odorizzi, his goal coming into this season, eye that 200 inning plateau, get deeper into games. Last year just averaged over 5 1/3 innings a start in 31 starts.
Up high, 2-2.
Now here in the early going, he goes 6 2/3 in his first start, 8 innings his last time out in Toronto. Here now into the 7th inning.
And now time asked for by Headley and granted. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes, leading off here in the 7th.
We're trying to get on that same page with Rene Rivera. The Rays need Jake to put up a 0 here.
Broken bat, flare to center field. That'll drop for a base hit.
Well, that's a creative way to beat the shift. The broken bat bloop into center field, and that may end the night for Jake Odorizzi.
And there is the sign from Kevin Cash. Riefenhauser's coming in. Odorizzi's night is done. Next 15 men in a row. Allowed just 2 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts, and got the offensive support by Brian McCann. 3 for 3 against Jake Odorizzi, including this, the big 2-run triple off the top of the wall. And that is the story of this game, 2-0. Yankees leading. The new pitcher to the game is the left-hander, C.J. Riefenhauser. He'll face Stephen Drew. And Drew showed bunt, pulled it back, took the pitch for a strike. Drew flew out to deep left field his last time up.
C.J. Riefenhauser, the only left-hander in the Rays bullpen. And he's going to come in against the lefties, the curveball that he'll sweep and a fastball. Occasional changeup if he sees a righty.
There is that breaking ball. No balls and 2 strikes to Drew.
More of a slurve right there at 74 miles an hour. Change up the speed a little bit. Change the speed, change the shape of the break.
Headley on at first. Slow breaking ball again, spoiled foul.
The way that Tanaka has looked tonight, the way that the back end of the Yankee bullpen threw the ball last night, Rays can ill afford to give up anything else.
Another breaking ball, 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Drew. A look over to first. Headley, not exactly a threat to steal. Has not attempted a stolen base this year. And by the way, we talked about at the top of this broadcast, you know, what was Alex Rodriguez going to be this year? Hitting in a 3-hole here tonight. Drew gets into one to right center field. Souza Jr. going back on the warning track. Can't make the catch. Pops out of his mitt. Headley's going to stop at third as Drew's in at second.
Well, Steven Souza Jr. had a little bit of trouble here at Tropicana Field in the opening series of the year against the Baltimore Orioles, and here once again some trouble. This ball stays up and in. Drew puts a pretty good charge into it. Souza looks like he has it under control there, and then the jump, and it's into the heel. Once you leave your feet, your head's bouncing, and that ball to the heel, and you cannot squeeze that one.
Went a long way for it. It looked like he didn't exactly know where he was, how close he was to the wall, because he didn't have to jump. Once he jumped, that threw him off. So it's a double now, second and third, nobody out, and Gregorio Petit at the plate. Pulled foul, 0-1. Petit 0 for 2 against Odorizzi. Strikeout and a ground out to second. The infield is in with nobody out. Runners at second and third. And Petit's job is to get one of these in. Up high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Grant Balfour warming up out there in the bullpen for Tampa Bay. One in the dirt. Good stop by Rivera. 2-1.
Rene Rivera active behind the plate. A breaking ball in the dirt. That runner at third. You talk about earning your pitcher's trust to be able to go with those types of pitches with runners on third.
The 2-1 pitch. In the air, right field for Souza Jr. Headley on the bag. He's going to tag. The throw comes all the way through, and Headley is safe. Bob Davidson with the call. Here comes Kevin Cash. To the naked eye, I think he got it right, but it looked like he was about to punch him out.
And I agree with you. Originally, the thought was, okay, it looked like he did beat it, but Bob Davidson jumped in there like he was getting ready to ring. And then went with the save call. Good throw here by Souza Jr. I don't know if he ever got the tag to him.
He faked everybody out.
Yeah, he never got the tag there. That foot was in. Made the right call.
Nice throw by Souza Jr. though. Made that a lot closer than I thought it would be.
You see, after the ball into the glove of Rene Rivera, takes it right down to the turf. C.J. Riefenhauser thinks that they got him. I think this one's pretty cut and dry.
I think so too. Safe.
Well, and the Rays remain 0 on their challenges on the season. I would have to say that would fall into the confirmed category. We haven't heard anything yet, but
you are right. Confirmed. So the run in 3-0, and now Jacoby Ellsbury with a runner at second. Ellsbury lines one to right field. Drew's going to be held up at third. For good reason. We already saw what Souza Jr. could do with a throw that almost got Headley. And now it's runners on the corners with 1 out.
Well, Souza Jr., the last throw, very good. And this one, that's why you don't see any runner coming into the picture. He's already established himself.
So Jim Hickey comes out to speak with C.J. Riefenhauser. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Brett Gardner coming up. You've got Grant Balfour warming up, so you got to figure this is the last batter that Riefenhauser's going to face, the lefty and Gardner. You got Alex Rodriguez up next, and then Mark Teixeira in the hole.
And there's so many things that the Yankees can do here offensively. You know, you've got 1 out right now, first and third. That sets up for a first and third bunt if you wanted to use Brett Gardner, who can handle the bat to get that run home from third. He's got speed. He's going to be tough to double up on a ground ball. Jim Hickey, I'm sure, out there going over the plan of attack, defensively what they're going to do. And you can see the defense right now playing about halfway. You get a hard hit ground ball at one of the middle infielders. He'll try to turn the double play against Gardner, but he moves quick.
Yeah. Not an easy guy to double up. First pitch breaking ball. You can see how Gardner was almost bailing out on that pitch.
C.J. Riefenhauser, he mechanically he starts on the third base side of the rubber, and that's when he sweeps that breaking ball, the slurve. Throws slightly across his body, tries to create some deception.
Ball's coming into play right now from the bullpen. Gardner bats that one away.
Like a good defenseman would do. Keep it away from the goalie.
Well, speaking of that, fans here in Tampa would like to know that the Lightning won 5-1 over the Red Wings to even that series at 1 game apiece.
I don't think they were too happy with game 1, dropping that one to the Red Wings after outshooting them 46-14.
I think you're correct. That is confirmed.
2 for 2.
In the dirt, the runners will hold. Three 0 Yankees on top of the 7th inning. The run that Headley scored charged to Jake Odorizzi. So his line is complete. 6+ innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. A third strong outing for Odorizzi.
Yeah, and most nights that's going to give you a chance to win, but Tanaka's been that much better. That's the difference here. C.J. Riefenhauser needs to strike out.
Misses outside. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Alex Rodriguez on deck. Grant Balfour warming up the bullpen.
Anytime you get in these situations, runner on third, less than 2, you're thinking strikeout, but you can't pitch that way. You've got to make quality pitches until you get to 2 strikes. Once you get to 2 strikes, now you're thinking strikeout and put the guy away. You start pitching like you're looking for a strikeout from pitch number 1, and it typically doesn't go very well. You got to put your work in first. He's in that position now. And Brett Gardner's just trying to find a ball to be able to put out and play, drive in another run.
2-2, fouled, and third base seats. You see that hole between shortstop and third base, that 5.5 that was made famous by Tony Gwynn. That's where you almost envision Gardner going with this.
You sweep the breaking ball, you got to stay back and slap it the other way. We'll see if he can do it. Easier said than done.
A look over at Ellsbury at first base.
You know, but with Brett Gardner, he's the type of player that should be able to do that. You know, you're gonna he hit 17 home runs last year, and 9 of them came on the road, so it wasn't fluky. You think about that short porch out in right field at Yankee Stadium, but his game, speed, got to be able to hit the ball the other way.
2-2, slaps it the other way for the base hit. RBI single by Gardner, and it's 4-0 New York. And that will do it for Riefenhauser.
Well, looking to put him away, elevated, and just slap it the other way. Well prognosticated.
4-0 Yankees on top of the 7th. Top of the 7th, 1 out, 4-0 Yankees on top. Grant Balfour is the new pitcher to face Alex Rodriguez. The The Yankees 3 for 6 with runners in scoring position so far tonight. First pitch on the outside corner for strike one. Balfour 3 2/3 so far this year. A walk, no strikeouts. Rodriguez walked and scored his last time up. Did not like that last call by home plate umpire Bob Davidson. Career versus Grant Balfour. Advantage Balfour. Just missing outside. 1-1.
Grant Balfour trying to reinvent himself. Not the same power fastball guy that would come right after you with nothing but heat. Still's obviously going to use that fastball, but now he'll throw in the slider. We've seen a couple of them already. Occasional curveball. Got to take even more off of it.
Will he still yell at himself?
Yes, he will.
Okay, that's all we care about. Tries to come inside, misses. 2-1.
I said reinvent, not completely change. He's still going to have that edge to him. That's the only way that he knows how to pitch.
Ellsbury at second, Gardner at first. In the dirt, 3 balls and a strike. You know, it's really funny. You look at the American League East this year, and to me, it's the most wide open it's been since the wild card era was established. And every team seems to have a weakness. There's an underbelly to every team, and you wonder, is this the underbelly for the Rays right now?
Well, between the injuries coming out of the gate, a ton of injuries. They haven't exactly been swinging the bats very well in the early going, and here tonight.
3-1 breaking ball missing inside. Ball 4. The bases are now loaded.
But any team needs to be able to get important big outs late in the game. And right now the Rays with their closer Jake McGee is on the disabled list. Those duties so far have fallen to Brad Boxberger. But you need to have a couple of guys down there that you can go to late and count on big outs. And if you don't have that, you're not going to go very far. There's no question. And I think that's a trend that we've seen all over baseball. Nobody did it better than the Kansas City Royals last year. Make it a 6-inning game, turn it over to the bullpen, and they just come in, lock down, it's over.
Teixeira, the opposite of Alex Rodriguez's career against Grant Balfour, now hitting with the bases loaded. Teixeira 0 for 3, 2 ground outs and a strikeout. And the first pitch foul tipped, 0-1. Eight career grand slams for Mark Teixeira. I know that would be exciting, but I think all Teixeira wants is a base hit right now. Just get some more confidence going. Coming in, hitting .219, 0 for 3 on the night.
And you talk to hitters and they'll say, I just want to have a good at bat and hit the ball hard. The results take care of themselves.
Looks at strike 2, 0-2.
Now you put yourself in a position, if you're Grant Balfour, to try to put Teixeira away, something he's been able to do 5 times in the 19 at-bats against Mark. Mark has gotten him a few other times, 7 times, couple home runs, 7 hits.
The shift is on, even with the bases loaded. One outside, trying to get him a chase. 1-2. I mean, that is as exaggerated a shift as you can get.
Oh, and you're so convinced with the success that Teixeira has had against Grant Balfour that he is not going to be looking to poke something the other way. He's going to look to drive the ball, and typically that's going to be to the pull side.
Rivera wants to go out and speak with Balfour. Two runs in the inning for the Yankees. A sacrifice fly by Gregorio Petit to drive in Headley, who led off the inning with a single. And And an RBI single by Brett Gardner to drive in Drew. In the dirt. Good block by Rivera.
Boy, a really good block, because that breaking ball was well short of the plate.
And also, with nobody even in the vicinity of third base, Ellsbury can get a huge secondary lead. If that gets the other way, he could potentially score.
You've got to block that perfectly. You talk about keeping it out in front. Yeah, there can be no deflection to the side. Ellsbury, with his speed, base running instincts, will go in standing up.
Look at that hole on the left side. 2-2 again in the dirt, again blocked by Rivera. So nowhere to put Teixeira with the bases loaded. And one out here in the top of the 7th. A chance for the Yankees to really bust this game wide open. The 3-2. In the air to right field. Souza backs up a couple steps. Ellsbury's got good speed. The throw's coming all the way home. Ellsbury will score. Moving to third base is Gardner. Sacrifice fly for Teixeira. And it's 5-0 New York.
Well, this is Grant Bow for Mark Teixeira. Bases loaded. And he comes right after him. Pitch number 1, jumps out ahead. And now 0-2 from there, just off the plate. A couple of breaking balls. They end up short. Nice job by Rivera to keep him in front. Now you come to the full count. Ask for the fastball. Give it to me over the plate. That may have even been a changeup. Teixeira able to get that out to right field, deep enough to score Ellsbury and add to the Yankee lead.
Just by curiosity, that throw by Souza Jr., do you want that lower to keep Gardner at second, or is Gardner going to third anyway because there was nobody on the third base bag?
Well, yeah, that's what you got to factor in. If you know the defensive setup, Steven Souza, who's he going to throw that to? I mean, is Evan Longoria going to track all the way back there? It's going to be a race between Longoria and Gardner.
Advantage Gardner.
To get to third, yes.
So 5-0 now, Yankees on top. Brian McCann, who's had himself a night, 3 for 3, 2 singles, the 2-run triple in the 6th inning, all against Jake Odorizzi. The fastball's high and outside for ball 1. He entered tonight batting 179. He's now at 258. Gotta love that early season batting average.
You'd be able to, add on 80, 100 points in one night.
Exactly.
Well, Alex Rodriguez came in leading it. Whoa.
That hits McCann. Evo Shield protects that elbow for him. He's all right. Now bases are loaded.
McCann hanging out over the plate. You see how close he is. You got to try to pitch him in, make him uncomfortable. He's having a heck of a night. A little too far in.
9th batter of the inning for New York, and it's Chris Young. Young struck out looking. The last of the 9 strikeout victims for Odorizzi came in the 6th. A ground out to short, a fly out to left. And he can't check his swing on that one. 0-1. You wonder, obviously pitchers, and you can speak to this, love getting offensive support. But a long layoff now for Masahiro Tanaka, who's been dealing. And Tanaka left that leadoff runner at second to end the 6th. Out in front again is Young, 0-2.
Well, that will be absolutely something to look for when he comes back out there for the 7th inning. But, truth be told, you want those runs, but it gets to a point where you feel so confident out on the mound that when you get enough, you're kind of like, we can wrap this up anytime. If you guys want to keep hitting, that's fine, but I'd like to get back out there and get this game finished off.
The 0-2 in the dirt. Another good stop by Rivera. We've got eyes and ears everywhere. We heard that Tanaka went down the tunnel. Catcher followed him, maybe getting some tosses in between before he comes back out.
Not a bad idea. You know, everybody's different. But it can be uncomfortable sitting out for a long time and then trying to crank it back up later in the ball game.
One, two. Young able to hold up. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Chris Young, the 4th outfielder for this Yankee team, starting here tonight because Carlos Beltran is sick. Although Joe Girardi said if we need him late, I'll use him.
They had the big hit last night that got it started for the Yankees in the 8th.
Beltran, that is.
Yeah, Carlos Beltran going the other way against the shift, and that brought in Gardner and led to Alex Rodriguez game-winning single.
The 2-2. Again in the dirt. Rivera able to find it. Everyone holds, and now 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases loaded, and everybody will be off with the pitch.
Graham Balfour able to get ahead of Chris Young with some good sliders, trying to put him away. Different story. This is your true action pitch. Bodies moving, bat moving, pitches. Here we go. And Rays right now hanging on by a thread.
9th batter of the inning. There they go. In the air, left field, hooking towards the line, and that is foul. Chris Young does have 2 home runs on the season. Jake Odorizzi started this inning. Gave up a leadoff single to Chase Headley. C.J. Riefenhauser came in. Gave up a double to Stephen Drew when Souza Jr. couldn't make the catch in right center. A sac fly to Petit. Single by Ellsbury. A 3-2 again. Hit well to left. Back is Geyer. Looks up. Grand slam. Chris Young just hammered that. The 3rd home run of the year for Young, his 3rd career grand slam.
Well, he had a good swing at the first full count pitch and a better swing at that. A slider never got to its spot, and Chris Young belted it.
So now the Yankees have batted around here in the 7th, leading 9-0. In what was a pitcher's duel for the first 6 innings. The Yankees have now sent many of these fans to the exits here in the top of the 7th inning.
Well, and it started out with a 1-out walk to Brett Gardner, followed up with a walk to Alex Rodriguez, and then with 2 outs, Brian McCann with his 3rd hit, the triple. See the grip, the slider just stays flat, and it allows Chris Young to get fully extended.
And again, Chris Young starting here tonight because Carlos Beltran is sick, taking advantage of it. A 7-run inning for the Yankees, ties a season high. They had 7 runs against the Red Sox on April 12th. And their first strike, 3-2 to Chase Headley. And by the way, Chris Young the grand slam. Don't forget what he did defensively. Made a nice catch in the gap in right center field against Desmond Jennings back in the 5th. And now a walk to Headley.
It's all about seizing the opportunity, and Chris Young getting to play a little bit with Brett Gardner and the wrist issue when he missed a couple of games. He had already popped a couple of home runs, getting more comfortable in there. Then Carlos Beltran a little bit under the weather. Who are you going to go to? Chris Young. What does he do? Makes a nice play, and then maybe puts the dagger in this game with that grand slam.
Zeros on the board all the way up into the top of the 6th. Then 2 runs in the 6th for New York and 7 here in the 7th. And Stephen Drew at the plate. Alford misses inside. 1-0. The Yankees won last night 5-4 in the opener of this series. Gets through the legs of Rivera. Down to second goes Headley.
Right now going bad to worse for Grant Balfour. There's a fastball here, slips it right through the 5-hole of Rivera. Well, Joe Girardi said coming in, they had dropped their first 3 series of the season, had an off day, came in here to Tropicana Field 3-6, and he said, here's the thing, we need to just start winning series. And he's on the verge of clinching this series already, having won last night and well on their way to winning again here tonight.
3 balls and no strikes to Drew. The Yankees in the midst of playing 25 of 35 away from Yankee Stadium. 2-2 so far on this 35-game span. Taken all the way was Drew. 3-1.
And you wonder right now, and you can see the bullpen getting up with this lead growing to what it is at 9-0, and Tanaka having to have set down in that dugout for so long. Would he even come back out? He's probably going to have to now. No one's going to be able to get loose enough, quick enough. Starting to throw now. Another walk.
It's David Carpenter throwing out there in the bullpen for New York, as back-to-back walks issued by Balfour after the grand slam brings out Jim Hickey once again. Well, next week Major League Baseball returns, starting with an AL Central battle as the Indians take on the Tigers in a game you can only see on Fox Sports 1. Then it's the return of the Subway Series. The Yankees battle the Mets. Coverage begins at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on America's home for baseball every Saturday, Fox Sports 1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. I think that's the earliest the Subway Series has ever been played.
Second baseman, Gregorio.
Yeah, I mean, you're what, 4 series into the 4 or 5 series at that point into the season.
So they have one before May, which means in April. I know that's really confusing. And then they'll have one again in September. Petit takes the first pitch for a ball.
Both teams hoping that they're very meaningful in a few months down the road. Got a lot of work to do until then.
Petit pops one up in foul territory. Rivera makes the catch to finally end this top of the 7th inning. But 7 runs in the inning. The big blast, a grand slam by Chris Young. And the Yankees lead 9-0 as we stretch them out here at Tropicana Field. Top of the 7th inning, which means Masahiro Tanaka has sat for about 40 minutes between pitches. A pinch hitter here, as Tim Beckham will pinch hit for Asdrubal Cabrera. And the first pitch is low and outside for ball 1. Beckham on the season, .259, 2 home runs, and 6 RBIs. Cabrera was 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout looking. Ground ball, shortstop. Drew handles it, 1 away.
Yeah, an interesting decision for Joe Girardi. You know, Tanaka, you'd like to preserve him as much as you can. He's throwing the ball great here tonight. Pitch count under control, but sitting, and you're talking about a 38-minute inning, and then you factor in a couple of minutes in between innings and on. You're right, up over 40 minutes of sitting this late in the game. Pretty sharp to Beckham, though.
And now another pinch hitter, Ryan Brett, pinch hitting for Evan Longoria. He takes the first pitch for a ball. Ryan Brett in Double-A last year. 303, 8 home runs, 38 RBIs. This is major league debut. 1 ball, 1 strike. Isn't that great? Come in, who do you get to face? Masahiro Tanaka. He's only dealing tonight, no big deal.
At the top of his game.
Missing outside. 2 balls and a strike. Now, as far as Tanaka, we told you how he was throwing. He went down, probably with a backup catcher, John Ryan Murphy. And that's actually commonplace for pitchers in Japan, for them to throw while their team is at the plate. Pulled foul, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Got the inside information from a friend of mine who lives over in Asia, who scouts Asia, Philip Salvatore. And he's the one who told me that that's not uncommon for guys like Tanaka. In the dirt, now 3-2.
That's as inside information as you can get.
Don't you love technology?
Sometimes.
Yeah, I agree with you. A lot of times it's great, sometimes it's brutal.
Well, just walk out to your car having forgot your phone in the house, and the panic as you drive off. No, can't happen.
Popped up, shallow left, Drew going out, Gardner coming in. Gardner makes the catch, 2 away. So Tanaka tonight, early on he didn't have his best stuff, but as you said, he's kind of gotten stronger in finishing those pitches.
Yeah, he really has, and he's looked outstanding. Put everything together command-wise, the off-speed stuff and the fastball, and things have really become just electric as the game's moved on. The splits improved, the break on the slider, the fastball. We've seen some good velocity, late movement heaters. Answered a lot of questions here tonight. When you talk about, you saw that breakout pre-injury, post-injury, the last 2 starts in September, or the first 2 starts after the injury last September, the first 2 starts of the season. He looks great here tonight.
Up and in, 2 balls and no strikes to Desmond Jennings, who's 0 for 2. A line out to center field and a fly out to right. On the outside corner, 2-1. Again, this is before and after a DL stint, July 8th at Cleveland. He suffered the injury. Before that, he was one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. I mean, there was talk, Tanaka, would he be the All-Star game starter? And then I think he pitched maybe that Sunday before the All-Star game, so he wouldn't be able to throw. But he was named, and then he got injured, so he couldn't go.
And came back for those 2 starts in September. Didn't go very well.
And it raised a lot of eyebrows by people across baseball.
No doubt.
A 2-2 to Jennings. Inside, now 3-2.
kind of hoping to have him back for a late push. That was not going to happen, and yet you rehab all that time and come back and pitch in what ended up being 2 meaningless games.
The 3-2. Broken bat, line drive to short. Another 1-2-3 inning for Masahiro Tanaka. Take 40 minutes off, why don't you? Take 45 next time. It's 9-0 New York. A lot of defensive changes. Logan Forsythe moves from second base to third base. Now at shortstop is Tim Beckham. And at second base is Ryan Brett. And oh yeah, a new pitcher, Jose Dominguez. He will face the top of the order, Jacoby Ellsbury, Brett Gardner, and Alex Rodriguez. First pitch, Ellsbury, base hit, center field. Jacoby Ellsbury now 2 for 5 on the night.
This Yankee lineup rounding into form here tonight. Big hits late, held in check in the early going, have exploded here to this 9-0 lead, and now Jacoby Ellsbury wasting no time off the young right-hander Jose Dominguez. Another base hit for the Yankees.
Brett Gardner, RBI single his last time up. Couple of runs scored, couple of stolen bases as well. And the fastball's in there at 93.
Dominguez part of the trade that sent Joel Peralta from the Rays to the Dodgers. A couple other players involved, but Dominguez, young right-hander, fastball slider.
Sharp shot to short. Beckham to second for 1. And they double up Brett Gardner.
Would have liked that his last at bat. And that shows you. I mean, he hit that ball sharply to Tim Beckham. But watch Brett Gardner getting down the line, trying to make this as close as possible. Still playing hard late in the game. Half a step. That new look Rays infield getting the job done here.
Dominguez likes it. 2 away now for Alex Rodriguez. 0 for 2. A couple of walks, a couple of runs scored. Also a couple strikeouts. He takes that first pitch, breaking ball for a strike. A guy who, for the majority of his career, hit third, hit fourth. This year he has hit all over the batting order. Tonight, in that 3-hole following up his game last night. A couple of home runs, an RBI single. 3 of the 5 hits for the Yankees as they won 5-4. Now the 0-2. Fastball, and he strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. So a good inning by Dominguez. We go to the bottom half of the 8th here in St. Pete. 9-0 Yankees. Seven innings, and an impressive 7 innings it was. This was Masahiro Tanaka pre-injury of 2014.
He was as good as it gets. 2 hits given up, no earned runs, didn't walk anybody, didn't hurt himself that way. 8 strikeouts and a nap after the 6th inning.
Through just 85 pitches through 7, David Carpenter is now the new pitcher. And the first pitch to Alan Dykstra's fouled away, 0-1. Carpenter's numbers on the season. Outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Garrett Jones has taken over at first base for the Yankees. Mark Teixeira gets some time off. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Dykstra 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Carpenter was acquired in a trade from the Braves back on New Year's Day. Up high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And a big fan of his is the guy who's catching him right now, Brian McCann. A big reason why the Yankees went out and got this guy, David Carpenter. They made some other moves, lost some guys back into their bullpen. Thought maybe this is the guy who can be their new 7th inning. And he strikes out. Dykstra looking, so 3 strikeouts on the night for Dykstra. Well, who are the 4 players who best represent the history of your favorite franchise? Go to MLB.com/franchise4 to cast your ballots. Winners will be revealed during the All-Star Game, July 14th on Fox. And of all the contests and whatnot that we've had over the years, this may be my favorite because it is a great conversation starter for every team. And there to Logan Forsythe. No balls and 1 strike. Some teams are easier than others to decide who the franchise 4 should be. Some, I mean, you can have debate after debate after debate about who it should be. And I kind of look at it as almost like a Mount Rushmore of a franchise, right? Who would you want on that mountain if you're the Yankees? And these are your options. I want to hear who you would put on. I know who I would put on, but I want to know who you would put on first.
Well, you know, listen, you got to go Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth, Gehrig, DiMaggio. Babe Ruth, Gehrig. Got to have Mantle, right?
That's 4 right there.
Right.
You just named 4.
Yeah, Ruth, Mantle, Gehrig, and then we'll go Joe D.
I agree.
Those are the 4. Come on.
I completely agree.
And this is for full transparency, we have not talked about this.
We have not.
Well, then maybe the Yankees are easier than some other teams would be.
Ground ball. Garrett Jones flips to Carpenter covering. 2 away. For the Rays, I think a couple of them are pretty easy. I actually think there should be somebody up there who's not.
And who would that be?
A manager.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Madden.
Yes. Well, he certainly burst on the scene here.
It's such a young franchise.
Yeah.
And you cover this team every day, but I look at Longoria, Shields, Price, and I would put Joe Madden.
Well, you know it's a young franchise when all of the options for your franchise 4, except for 1, are playing.
In the air, right field coming in is Young. He's there, and a 1-2-3 inning is worked by Carpenter. We go to the 9th here in St. Pete. All Yankees. The man you just saw, Brian McCann. Brian McCann, 3 for 3, 2 singles, that 2-run triple against Jake Odorizzi. And if there's ever a really good game changer, this was it. I mean, he changed the complexion of the game with that triple. 2 balls and no strikes. Here to Garrett Jones, who came in defensively for Teixeira. So the first at bat for Garrett Jones. Pops one up, foul territory. Dykstra gives it a look. This will reach the seats, and it's 2-1. Going back to that, the 4 for New York. A lot of people have put Mariano Rivera in. People have put Derek Jeter in. And to me, I think it all comes back to Seinfeld. When you hear Jerry go, Ruth, Gehrig, DiMaggio, Mantle, Costanza, You don't hear them put Mo or Jeter in that list.
I don't know if they would have been eligible at that point.
They would not have.
Careers were just starting.
Ryan Brett retires Garrett Jones for the first out.
Well, that's an interesting point, and I think the reason that you look at those names just etched in stone, Monument Park.
Yeah.
Mariano Rivera and Derek Jeter, they're going to have their day out there, but I don't think they're eligible yet. I think that's what the thinking here. Could you put them on there? You absolutely could. Mariano Rivera, one of the best closers of all time, the best postseason
not one
closer.
of. He is the best.
Well,
come on.
It's true. I mean, he the most clutch too.
Oh yeah.
How about his postseasons?
Oh, ridiculous.
One after the other. I mean, if there was such a sure thing as an automatic 1-2-3 ninth inning, it was Mariano Rivera. And the interesting thing about him is when he decided to walk away from the game. Don't tell me that he couldn't still be doing the same thing now.
Right now.
Forget last year. He'd have done it last year, and he'd be out there dealing again this year. He walked away, and he had lost nothing.
The guy was truly remarkable.
With one pitch. He could take that cutter, and it just didn't matter. He'd backdoor it. Later in his career, he started backdooring it, front dooring it, just one after the other. You knew what was coming. You could do nothing about it.
The 1-2 to McCann. Fisted foul. Stays 1-2. But here's a fun game. If you ever have time, take the all-star team all time of the New York Yankees, right? And then take an all-star team of the rest of baseball history.
Stratomatic?
And try to compare the two.
Be hard pressed.
If you go around the Yankees over history, your outfield is Mantle, DiMaggio, Ruth. You're hard pressed to get a better outfield than that. At first base, you've got Lou Gehrig. At second base, you're probably going to go Robinson Cano. Shortstop is Jeter. Third base, that's up in the air. Is it A-Rod? Is it, Nettles? Little flare foul. Rivera with a long run. Good effort. Can't get there. Catcher, Yogi Berra. You got a couple other Hall of Famers to choose from. Just think about that. Yeah. That's one franchise right there.
One franchise. Well, listen, there's a reason why there's, 40 American League pennants, 27 World Series. Good players. Good players do things like that. What is it, next in line, the Cardinals with 11 or so?
It's McCann foul tip into the mitt of Rivera, and he goes down swinging, retire for the first time tonight. 2 outs here in the ninth. But just for fun, who would be your outfield if you took the rest of baseball history? I think I know who I would go with, but
I'm real interested in hearing about that, so go right ahead.
I'd go Williams in left, Mays in center, Aaron in right.
Nobody's going to argue with that outfield on any level.
Young, who hit the grand slam his last time up. Behind on the count 0-2 to Jose Dominguez. Joe Girardi's team about to take the first 2 games of this series here in St. Pete. Down low, 1-2.
Well, you see, hitting it with what it is today, with the shift, averages down across the league, and you start to think about Ted Williams. You see these guys get off to a hot start for a week, and they're hitting 400 at the end of the week, and extrapolate that over a season. At 406. Last guy to do it. That's just incredible.
And by the way, the year he hits 406, his rival has a 56-game hitting streak.
The golden age.
1 ball, 2 strikes here to Chris Young. Joe DiMaggio, number 5. Joltin' Joe. One-two back up the middle. There's the shift working. Ryan Brett makes the play. And the 1-2-3 inning worked for Dominguez. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Last ups for the Rays, trailing 9-0. Nine 0 New York on top of Tampa Bay. And for those of you tuning in for the Monster Energy Supercross from Santa Clara, we'll get you out there immediately at the conclusion of our game. In the meantime, the broadcast is currently available on Fox Sports 2 as well as streaming live on Fox Sports Go app and at foxsportsgo.com. Rene Rivera swings and misses at the first pitch from Brandon Pinder. Some defensive changes. Chris Young moves from right field to center. Jacoby Ellsbury is out. Garrett Jones goes from first to right. Brian McCann is now playing first base. And behind the plate is John Ryan Murphy. Foul tips. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So this is kind of like either a spring training game or an all-star game with all these defensive changes. Brandon Pinder, his MLB debut against the Orioles on Wednesday. Down the right field line, long run for Garrett Jones by the bullpen. This one goes into the seats. Who was your debut against?
That would have been the Toronto Blue Jays, 1993, September. Paul Molitor, first hitter.
That was the first hitter you faced.
Should have known right then and there that that's how the career was going to go, because it was a little backdoor breaking ball, hits a pop-up out behind second base. Center fielder, shortstop, second baseman converge, stand around, it bounces high off the turf for a double.
Well, Rene Rivera just struck out against Brandon Pinder for the first out. I asked this question in our meeting with Kevin Cash because I love asking players, young managers, their moment when they realized, oh my gosh, I'm actually in the big leagues. And I asked Kevin Cash what his moment was, and he said, actually, it was when I had to give my spring training welcome speech. That's what I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a major league manager. What was your moment? Was it facing Molitor, that first batter?
Yeah, it was absolutely. coming into that ball. Wait, you know what? Wow, that's a tough one, because I remember when I got called up, it was in Detroit. And pitchers were running sprints out in the outfield, and a couple of pitchers had their hat on backwards. And so I thought, well, I like to run with my, you don't like to run with the bill, you know, I like to run with my hat on backwards. So what do I know? I mean, I've been drafted 2 months prior. I don't know anything that's going on in professional baseball. All I know is other guys are doing it. So I flipped it on backwards, made a sprint, and on my way back in was met out in the right center field by Rod Carew, the hitting coach at the time, who...
DeJesus line drive to center. Young slides. He traps it. A base hit for DeJesus. So Rod Carew comes up and says what?
You can repeat all of it right now, but what he basically told me was, hey, rookie, turn that hat back around, and I never want to see that again. And that was a welcome to the big leagues moment. Like, wow, this is for real. First game, you know, different story. You're coming in, and, you know, that was back when the Toronto Blue Jays were coming off a world championship, would win another one that year, on their way to 4 million in attendance at what was Sky Dome at the time. And so it was a packed house, 50,000+ people, and Paul Molitor is the first guy you're going to face. You think you got him popped up. Next thing you know, he's standing out on second base, and you're in the stretch.
That's awesome. No ball, 1 strike here to Steven Souza Jr., who's 0 for 3. A line out, a strikeout looking at the ground out. Missing inside is Pinder. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, tomorrow in the finale, it's Michael Pineda against Matt Andriese. The Yankees will be going for a sweep. Timeout called at home plate before the pitch. Backhand scoop by John Ryan Murphy. 2 balls and 1 strike. After the game tomorrow, the Yankees will continue this road trip, and they'll go to Detroit for the first of 4. The Rays, they'll be home. They'll take on Boston for 3, then Toronto for 3. Out straight back, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
25 of the first 28 for the Rays against the American League East. You talked about the Yankees and what they're embarking on as far as the road. 25 of the next 35, and it doesn't get any easier going up to Detroit, who's been red hot.
Missing inside, now 3 balls and 2 strikes. We talked about before the American League East being wide open as I can remember in really the last 20 years. 3-2 fouled back.
And for the longest time, the Yankees and the Red Sox had a stranglehold on the division. The Rays came on in 2008. Baltimore has been a team to contend with the
Red
last
Sox,
few years. Absolutely. And then, you know, Toronto, they continue last couple of years to try to load up in the offseason. Their team looks good on paper, so there's
3-2 hit well to left center field. Gardner racing over to make the catch, and back to first base goes DeJesus. So 2 away. But you know, you think about it, you mentioned Detroit, how well they're playing. There's an underbelly to that team too. What happens with the bullpen for them? It's like every team you look at, there's some deficiency. There's no real complete team that you're like, I'm in love with that team. That's who I think can win the World Series.
That's what's going to make the next 5.5 months so fun.
Yeah.
Because I agree.
Tim Beckham with his second at bat takes the first pitch breaking ball for a strike. Masahiro Tanaka, 7 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts through 85 pitches. Fouled back just over our head. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. Jake Odorizzi, 6+, 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. Those 2 walks really came back to hurt him in that 6th inning, when it was a 2-run triple by Brian McCann that scored both Gardner and Alex Rodriguez. The Yankees would add 7 in the 7th inning. Just 3 total hits for the Rays on the night. The 0-2 down the right field line, foul.
And what was so impressive about Tanaka's outing, not only the line was impressive, but the 7 innings, 8 strikeouts on just 85 pitches. The efficiency averaged just over 12 pitches an inning and still struck out more than a hitter an inning.
Yeah. And I loved what he did in that 6th inning.
Oh, yes.
With a leadoff double by Geyer, strikes out Rivera, strikes out to Jesus Souza Jr. with a ground out.
Never moved off of second base.
Pop up down the right field line. McCann's going for a look. A long run won't get there. And that's almost one of those where if you're Joe Girardi in the Yankee bench, you're saying, let it drop.
Yeah.
You're our starting catcher. You're playing first base right now for an inning. Let it drop.
Overextend yourself. You're in it for the long haul. Especially after the night that he had tonight.
No balls, 2 strikes, still to Beckham. Check swing. Did not go. Laid off the slider. 1-2.
You can see why the Yankees like Pinder. Good stuff. The fastball firm. That slider right there, 86 miles an hour, taking it just off the plate. Carpenter, same thing. Some power coming out of the back end of that Yankee bullpen, or at least out of the Yankee bullpen. Oof.
And as we've seen over the past few years, come playoff time, that's what you need. You need those power arms. That's what wins in October.
It's about getting outs. It's about getting dominating outs, strikeouts. It goes back to the inning that you just referenced with Tanaka, the leadoff double, couple of strikeouts, and you get right out of that inning. No productive outs.
2-2 misses inside. Now 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nine runs on 10 hits and no errors for New York. No runs on 3 hits and no errors for Tampa Bay. 6 men left on for New York, 2 for Tampa Bay. The payoff pitch, up high, ball 4. First and second now for Ryan Brett.
With the Rays' first walk of the game, Wallace donates $250 to the Suncoast Hospice Foundation. To date, Wallace has donated $3,000 for the season. Now batting, second baseman, Ryan Brett.
Again, just looking at the line for Tanaka, a spectacular pitching performance for him tonight. 85 pitches over those 7 innings.
And he passed the eye test, too. The line's great, the pitches are great, but we talked early in the game about wanting to see the finish on the pitches. It was there. The fastball had life. The off-speed had good late movement.
A balk has now been called against Brandon Pinder that puts the 2 men in scoring position.
Well, that's why you have the name Balkin Bob Davidson. He was not going to get out of this game without ringing somebody out. Man, he umpired first base last night, didn't get any opportunities. Not going to go 2 nights in a row.
Fastballs in there, and you know, we're heaping praise on Tanaka, and we talked about this earlier in the broadcast about the injury. And you've been through 2 Tommy Johns. We talked about it, you know, every outing. Are you holding your breath? You take something positive out of this outing, but the next outing you're still watching, holding your breath. Is that going to be the game where it goes?
I don't know if I'm going to be holding my breath next start. I mean, from what I saw tonight, I'm saying, what injury? Okay. I know that the concern is there. There's no question about it. But you have to listen. We don't have the direct knowledge that that the Yankees do and their medical staff. But as far as what we see or what we saw tonight, I don't see the red flag. I saw a pitcher that was out in front delivering quality pitches all night long.
As a baseball fan, I hope you're right, because he's good for baseball. This one gets away from John Ryan Murphy, not far enough. 3 balls and 2 strikes here to Ryan Brett.
It goes back to what we were talking about earlier. You can understand why people feel that way and why they're going to every single outing be watching intently to see what will happen. But all I'm saying is, first chance of watching him live here in 15, and I'm saying this guy's fine.
Outside, back-to-back walks issued by Pinder to load the bases.
And this is what the New York Yankees would prefer not to see. To see Brandon Pinder put an end to this game. It's going to bring Larry Rothschild out.
It's one of those walks out to the mound where Larry Rothschild didn't look very happy.
No. And you know what? He's gathering his thoughts because he doesn't want to go out and just go double barrel action on the youngster. So he just, okay, what am I going to say? How am I going to present it in a positive manner and yet get the point across? Let's throw some strikes and get the ball game.
Yeah.
I think that's the challenge of the pitching coaches as they head out there.
This game, for really 6 innings, was a pitcher's duel because of Masahiro Tanaka and Jake Odorizzi.
Well, it came down to who was going to blink first, and it was the 2 walks in the 6th inning with 1 out that ended up doing Jake Odorizzi in. The 2 walks, and oh, by the way, guess who's coming up later with 2 outs? Brian McCann, who had given him trouble, and he cashed in.
Pinder misses inside to Desmond Jennings to open up this at-bat. Bases are loaded after a single, a fly out to left, and back-to-back walks. Broken bat towards the bullpen of New York. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. You saw Chris Martin was throwing out there in the pen for New York. The Yankees hoping not to use him. They're not even probably very happy they have to get him up right now.
No doubt.
Man. 1-1 here to Jennings. That bat was truly shattered.
Shards everywhere. Put that right on the pile for the winner.
For some, like you, who go up to Cleveland. For us here, live in the South, we don't have to worry about that. Check swing. Rolls foul. Some people just have those gas fires now. Turn them on, turn them off when you want to.
They're not as fun.
No, they're not.
Not as fun. You want that wood, that smell.
Not all of us have access to broken bats for firewood. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bottom half of the 9th inning, 9-0 Yankees to the Rays. Justin Kutcher alongside Brian Anderson from the Tropicana Fields in St. Petersburg, Florida. One, 2, check swing. Did he go? The appeal, he did not, says David Rackley. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. He held up. John Ryan Murphy trying to encourage Pinder. Ground ball up the middle. Drew. And that will do it. The Yankees take game 2 of this series by the score of 9-0. Tanaka picks up his 2nd win Odorizzi suffers his first loss of the year, while the Yankees move to 5-6, and the Rays fall to 6-6. A grand slam by Chris Young in the 7th. That'll do it here in St. Pete. Now let's get you out to Santa Clara, California. It's the Monster Energy Supercross. Here's Ralph Shaheen.